have no one to call if they're wrongly arrested. The white person will call their local political committee man or person. They'll call the parents, perhaps, of a teenager, will call the local politician. Yo, what's going on here? My child was arrested just because he didn't have his license. Why didn't you just tell him to go home and get his license? And things like, so the white person has more power. Black people have no connection to the people in power. So you know there's not going to be any blowback on arresting a minority because they don't have any power to complain.
And Afro-Americans are not only unjustly arrested, they are not treated with the same respect as white people are.
I ran because nobody else ran again? Or if you stop somebody from going through a light, you would say, hey, out of your car. Out of your car. Show me ID. You wouldn't say that. To a white person, you would go up and say, may I see your driver's license, please? And blacks know that. Blacks know when you go, hey, out of your car, now. And then they say, whoa, what did I do? Oh, what did I do? Don't say that. Don't ask me why I'm stopping you. I said get out of the car. And that's right there, your first disrespect. And I saw that happening, and blacks know it's happening. They know it's not happening to white people. So automatically they start resenting the police. Just from little verbal commands, let alone the physicality of grabbing somebody and putting them in handcuffs while you check their ID. Unfortunately, when I would tell other officers, whoa, that's enough, then they would think, hey, what are you? N for the word. What are you, an N lover?
N?
N for Nigger.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. 1751. For those of you who have already smashed subscribe, I'd like to take my hat off to y'all, man. And, thank y'all for your unwavering support. And for those of you who have yet to smash subscribe, man, go on over and hit that thing, man. And don't forget to hit the bell notification while you at it. Anyway, today, man, we're going to be getting into a situation that just occurred. Well, actually, this situation occurred back in February 19th, 2025, earlier this year. And a lot of questions is being raised, why now? Why is this brother all of a sudden coming forth with these claims when he didn't make a claim immediately after this happened? But what you have to understand is that a lot of black folks, people of a certain demographic, we don't have the privilege, we don't have the privilege like other people. A lot of us are not connected. We don't know who to reach out to after being violated in such manner, right? So this young brother, he claimed that he had a hard time watching this video for months, and he finally posted it, in which I'm guessing Ben Crump and them, Ben Crump and his firm, they reached out. Because these are the type of cases that they like to, pursue. Now, what I'm going to show you, is the facts, right? I'm going to show you the facts. We're not going to go off speculation, accusations. We're going to go off the facts, right? Now, here, you see this young brother sitting in the vehicle, right? Which we already know. From the time he's got pulled over, he immediately opened his door. The officer approaches the vehicle, and the young brother he asked the officer, why am I being pulled over? He's concerned. Why am I being pulled over? I know I've done nothing wrong. Why are you pulling me over? He's very agitated. It's obvious, right? Officer tells him, I'm pulling you over because you have no headlights on and no windshield wipers on in inclement weather, right? Where we can all see that there's nothing inclement about the weather in this video. For those of you who don't understand what inclement weather is, that is weather that can kind of make it hard to operate a vehicle. Rain, snow, sleet, mist, fog. Any weather that can make it hard to operate a vehicle and see, right? But it's clear in this video that the weather was very clear. Clear skies, clear blue skies, just like you see here behind me. Clear blue skies. There's no reason why these officers should have pulled him over for that, of all things, right? Which raised a lot of concerns for me, right? And people from my community, right? Why did these officers really pull this brother over? You know, don't give us that bullshit about no headlights, because what I'm going to show you in a minute is multiple units pulled up, multiple patrol cars pulled up while all this was going on, and about 3 of them had no headlights on upon pulling up. Okay, I don't think the weather changed that fast. You know, this is the type of shit that we've always had to deal with, man. You know, law enforcement, just you know, doing unlawful activity and just rubbing it in our face. You know, I can do it, but you can't. You know, I'm the law. I can't break the law because I am the law, right? And you better not challenge them. You know, but this situation here, man, was, I mean, I can't say it was unique because these type of situations happen every day all across America, right? Florida is just another state that, you know, where racism is running rampant. If a lot of you remember, just about a month ago, you had one of the Florida sheriff deputies take the podium and give a very unpleasant statement about the protests against ICE. You know, telling the people that if you get in the road, my officers will run you over. We will kill you.
We will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street.
You know, for officers to feel that they don't see anything wrong with being able to say this in the public, this is beyond me, man. You know, these officers took the podium and you know, and said that we will kill you. Your family, you come down here fucking with us, your family will be identifying your body. They will be viewing your body, right? This is what this officer said. And this is also in Florida. So it's no surprise to me that Officer Waters, this black Uncle Tom, Uncle Rucker, you know, puppet, it's no surprise to me that he took this podium in defense of these white officers down there in Florida, you know, with the good old boys, right? Now, a lot of people, and I'll be the first to admit, if your stuff is not right, you know, your license is suspended, you know, your car is not registered, you have no insurance, it might not be a smart thing to do to challenge the officers. You might want to try to finesse and try to talk your way out of the situation, because being hostile with officers under those circumstances is only going to lead to one thing. You know, they're only going to escalate, you know, and use excessive force, and they will likely be justified, right? Now, this brother here, the good thing is that he had this camera rolling from the beginning, because he got the officer on camera after asking the officer, why you pulled me over. The officer say, inclement weather, not having headlights on, seatbelt on, and windshield wipers, right? But later on down the line, it was determined that this brother also had a suspended license and car wasn't registered, right? But that is not a probable cause at this point. The probable cause was already inclement weather. Now, mark my word, they might try to throw that in there, but hopefully Ben Crump and them and his firm will be all over that bullshit, right? Now, it was determined that you know, this brother had a suspended license and shouldn't have been on the road in the first place, right? And they will definitely try to spin that. They will definitely try to spin that, you know, and use that somewhere in the case. But as you can see, this young brother, he didn't resist arrest because there was no grounds for arrest. What was the arrest for? What was the charges? Did anybody read him his rights? I mean, what was the charges? What was the criminal offense for him being arrested in the first place? For him to even resist? That was not resisting. That was non-compliance. It's a difference. It's a difference. I refuse to comply. You know, I'm in my vehicle. Okay, you broke the window. After breaking that window, that officer took it upon himself to, with his, you know, with his little soft knuckles, his little soft ass knuckles, he took it upon himself to sucker punch his brother, man. And once he sucker punched him, he stood back and let his fellow officer reach in and pull the brother out of the vehicle. And at that point, you could see the officer that punched him first, you could see him standing outside the vehicle, and he's very excited. He's jumping around like, I can't wait till you get out.
Sir, what is your reason?
Step out now.
All right.
Get on the ground.
No, don't.
Get on the ground.
Put stop fighting!
Put your hands behind your back.
Put your hands behind your back! Hands behind your back! What's wrong with you?
I was putting my hands behind
You know, he can get his shit off. You know, and if you pay attention close enough, you can see the way he was jumping around. Like he was excited, man. You know, we got us one. You know, and as soon as they pulled his fellow officer pulled his brother out of the vehicle, the first thing this officer did that threw the first punch, he delivered a second punch right up under the chin. And for those of you who understand, those of you who are fighters, you understand how easy it is to break a person's jaw. You know, when a person's talking or got their face up like this, and all you have to do is tap this, you know, tap this bone right here, man, while it's moving. You don't even have to tap it hard. All you have to do is give it a nice hit, and you will dislocate everything. Everything. You know, it's just that easy, man. You know, and that's what I believe this officer was attempting to do. He was attempting to break this brother's jaw, man. You know, but if that wasn't enough, you know, once they got this brother to the ground, they roughed him up quite a bit. You know, now, this brother's camera only recorded up to a certain point. You know, his camera didn't show what happened after he fell to the ground. But thank God, the pressure was put on this department and they was forced to release that camera footage, the body cam footage, which showed the entirety of the situation after they went to the ground. You see the other officer, not the officer that delivered the first two blows, but you see the other officer that pulled him out, he struck the brother about 6 or 7 times.
Stop fighting! Behind your back! I'm resisting! Hands behind your back!
About 6. You can see it on the camera, right? He gave about 6, 7 blows. And what kind of baffles me that I don't see anyone raising concerns about that. You know, I hear a lot of people questioning this one officer, but every officer on the scene was complicit. They were all part of this, man. You know, every single one of them took a part of it. You know, whether they held him down, you know, whether they said some unpleasant remarks, they were all complicit. The black officers as well. You know, whole lot of fucking coonery and buffoonery, man. You know, these black officers, they disgust me. They disgust me, man. You see one of the black officers saying, you know, why didn't you just get out? You know, why you closed the door when he pulled up? You know, you hear another officer call him an asshole or whatever. You know, they refuse to understand or to see that what their fellow officers were doing was very unlawful. Very unlawful. The smart thing would have been to let the black officers try to take a shot at bringing the hostility down and, attempt to get this brother out of the vehicle. That would have been the smartest thing. I believe that would have been the smartest approach, because when you have a white officer dealing with a black man and this black officer on the scene, that should be common knowledge that if these white officers get into any altercation with this black guy and it goes to court, they have a lawsuit brung against their department, it's likely going to turn into a civil rights lawsuit, right? Because there's so much white on black racist, racial profiling going on here in America. So it would have been the smartest thing to do in that situation was to let those black officers try to talk to that black brother, just to de-escalate the chances of this being labeled a racial situation. But these officers wasn't even smart enough to figure that out. So this whole thing doesn't surprise me at the least, man. Right? Now, with this officer Waters, Sheriff Waters, to give this press conference and to say the things that he said, for him to utter, this was not a sucker punch. This was not a sucker punch. And as you can hear him tell the journalists, wait, don't try to tell the public what they see. The public don't need anyone to tell them what they see. Anyone with eyes can see clearly that this was misconduct, right? And that y'all are running a very corrupt organization down there in Florida, right? I thought Ohio was bad. Florida, man. Florida's right on their heels, if not worse. Now, this brother, good God, thank God he had that camera rolling. Thank God he had that camera rolling, and they wasn't aware that his camera was rolling. That's why I say you should always set your camera up on the dash upon getting stopped by the police, right? Now this brother, thankfully he had that camera, and those officers were unaware that they were being recorded, because everything that we seen in that camera, the police report didn't resemble what we saw in that camera. There are probable cause. They're saying that this brother reached for the knife on the floorboard, which there was later determined that there was a knife on the floorboard. But as we can see in the camera footage, this brother never reached down to that floorboard, not once. The whole time he made sure he sat straight. You didn't see as much as the shoulder movement. He may have looked into the camera a few times as to say, y'all see this, right? And once they said, put your hands up, here, so much for non-compliance. I damn sure see compliance. He raised his hands, they broke the window, and they told him to raise his hand again. Boom, he went back up, raised his hand again. They pulled him out, and they roughed him up. Now, the problem here is, after roughing him up, one of the black officers, after making some unpleasant remarks to this brother while he's on the ground, the black officer looks into the driver's seat and look around the car and say, hey guys, we got a knife in here.
Here.
See that joint?
Huh?
You see that joint?
What? The knife? Yeah, that's it.
So that leads me to believe that they didn't know that knife was in there from the beginning. So for them to try to use that in the report as probable cause for the reason why they escalated the situation is beyond me. Although they're going to try to use that, I don't believe that Ben Crump and his firm is going to let that slide past just like that, right? Now, like I said, it was a term that this brother didn't have. You know, his license was suspended, his car wasn't registered, and they're going to try to slide that in there somewhere in their defense, right? Anything they could use, they will try, right? But thank God we had this camera footage, because had it not been for this camera footage, there wouldn't have been a way, any way, to prove that these officers was operating in negligence, right? But this is a chain of corruption, man. This is a chain of corruption, man. You know, they let these black officers within the departments all over America, and once they get in, they kind of lose touch with their own people, you know, and as they lose touch with us, we lose touch with them. Once we see them acting like this, acting in this manner, man, and sticking up for racism, which you can clearly see that this was a case of racism, racial profiling. For this officer, Sheriff Waters, to take the stand and try to shoot that journalist question down when the journalist asked him, what do you think? Do you think the black community is going to buy this? Officer Waters took it upon himself to say, I don't know. Very nonchalantly, right? But what he don't know is he just exposed himself. He just exposed himself to the whole of America. You know, who cares about how many decades you've been on the force, right? He felt the need to bring that in to the discussion. How many years, how many decades? He's been on the force for 3 decades. All that means to us after seeing this buffoonery performance, all that means to us is that you've been defending racism against your own people for 3 decades or more. This just makes you a super loser, just a tap dancer, man. You know, all I seen up there with Officer Waters behind that podium, all I saw was a puppet. I can literally see the strings. You know, this guy is a puppet, man. And he don't mind. He knows that everything he's saying, all the deflection that he's using, he knows that he's a piece of shit. He knows that it's wrong, but he has too much at stake to jeopardize by standing up for his community, standing up for what's right, having a backbone. And this is what happens when we have black people who make it into these type of positions. They somehow have a change of perspective on everything when it comes to their people. You know, they know what's wrong, but they're not a part of the black race anymore. They're part of the blue. You know, red, white, and the blue. Red, white, and the blue, right? You know, the red folks, the white folks, and the blue folks. They are now part of that club. They are no longer a part of the black and brown, right? And that's okay. If that's what you know, what you chose, then that's okay. But just be straight up, man. Be up front. You know, be up front. Say that this position I'm taking. You know, I'm sick of you black folks. You know, I'm not going for it. Just say how you feel. But don't tell us on camera that we didn't see what we saw. And we know that you saw exactly what we saw.
Yep.
But there was, when I go back and look at the other video, from the cell phone video,
Yeah.
I can understand the officer punching the window out. But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again, I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out, and then you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same video as you saw. So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I wanted to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up the
It's important, let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties.
So I just want to get back to the punch. This is just to be a yes or no question.
Wait, Eric, are you going to tell me how to answer a question?
I'm just keeping it simple.
All right, go ahead.
Was it appropriate for the officer to punch this guy in the jaw after he'd already broken the window? Was that yes or no? Was that appropriate?
It depends on the circumstances. But it's already determined it's not criminal. Now we're going to look for JSO policy violations. How about that?
If a civilian did that to another civilian, they would be in handcuffs.
No, not necessarily. It depends on the circumstances, the situation. I know that's how you want it to be. I know there's a tendency to want to be some massive cover-up that is not. That's why I'm here. I stand up, we talk to you about what happened, we give you what we can give you, then it's up to you guys to report it. But
do you think the public is going to buy that?
I don't know. My point is,
Do you think the black community is going to buy?
don't use the black thing. I'm a black man. Wait, hold on, Eric, hold on, stop for a second, because you're trying to be incendiary, and this is not the time for it. This is me sharing information with our public, right? The whole statements about the black issue. I wouldn't work here if we're after black men or black people, period. I can tell you he wouldn't. I can tell you any other African American or black male or female that works here wouldn't work here if our black citizens are under siege. Not the case. Not at all. I've been alive probably a little bit longer than you have. Haven't had any of these issues. You know why? Because if I was ever stopped by the police, which I was when I was a young man, and they asked me to do something, I did it. It's simple. Simple compliance. It doesn't rise. It doesn't get out of control. That stuff doesn't happen then. Do as we ask you to do. If you don't like the word compliance, just do as we ask you to do then, so that we can get finished. Then you tell us about it if you feel like your rights were violated, and we can deal with it. That's the way it should work. Every single time. Yes, ma'am.
The officer that has been stripped of his authority, does he have a disciplinary history at all?
Not that I know of. We'd have to look, but I don't think so. We'll get you that answer. Anyone else?
Any idea how long this internal investigation may take?
It's hard to tell, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible. There are other cases working, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as possible because we want to, like I said, we want to share as much as we can, as quickly as we can, because it's that important. Good? All right, thanks, y'all.
Yeah, man. These officers, for the same reason that they claimed that they pulled his brother over, they committed the same violation. They pulled up multiple patrol units with no headlights or windshield wipers. Now, if someone can explain that to me, I would be glad. I would be glad to lend an open ear. You can meet me in the comments, and I would be glad to hear what you have to say. But this is just buffoonery at a high level. All these black officers, man, and not one of them felt empowered enough to say, this is not right. None of them. This is not right. I don't want to be associated with this type of activity. I have to go back home, you know. What am I going to say in the summertime when, you know, my wife want to go to the cookout? What am I to do? What am I to do? You know, tell my wife I got to go in today, I got to go to work today, or I'm tired, you know, my back hurt, I think I'm going to stay in bed. You know, what are you going to tell your wife and kids when they want to go to the cookout? Huh? After everyone in the black community witnessed you defending racism at its finest. Anyway, man, I want to thank you all for tuning in, man. It's been quite a minute since I tapped in. You know, I'm you know, actually going to make it my priority to start to get back to daily recording and getting these videos up to you, man, as they come, right? So that we can break these things down and review them together, you know. But anyway, until next time, man, it's your boy, Mr. 1751, bringing you another 1751 review. And until next video, hey, if you enjoy watching videos like these, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Help your boy get into the algorithm so that I can continue to bring you more videos just like the one you just watched. Anyway, until next time, y'all stay up.
I just really wanted to know, you know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared.
To see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sought right. And he did right. To see that it's a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first. And to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone.
Wow.
That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got him.
I want you to try to put yourself in our shoes. Try to put yourself in William's shoes just for a second. The police stop you and tell you, you say, why are you stopping me? And they say, well, you don't have your headlights on and it's raining. And you look and you're like, there's no rain. Why are you stopping me? And all he does, why I say it's a Rosa Parks 21st century moment, he as a black person says, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm going to try to demand my constitutional rights. That's the only thing that William McNeil did. And that's the only thing you would want your children to do. To say, as a citizen, don't I have the right to know why you're violating my Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure unlawfully? That's it, nothing more. So search your hearts, America. If this was your child, wouldn't you be proud that William kept his calmness in his demeanor and de-escalated it? And let that govern you when you call on the sheriff to hold these police officers accountable, because that's what we have to get here. We have to have accountability.